ago because we just realized that it's a lot when you're coming to a brand new dance studio and there's going to be all sorts of things that you don't know about and you don't understand how the recital works. So we just try and go over some of those things that we found are frequently asked questions at this meeting. My name's Kate and I'm one of the owners.
I'm Debbie. I'm one of the other owners.
And then we've got Megan is our office manager. She is probably the most important person you should know at the studio because if you ever have a question, she is the girl to go to. And then we've got Lisa, who's the other person you should know. She is our bookkeeper. And if you ever email the studio with questions about your account, what we do is we forward them all to her, and then she will either call you back or email you back or somehow get in touch with you to figure things out. And Lisa's going to be here tonight only until 7:45. So if you already have a question about your account, then just pop out at some point, go tap her on the shoulder, and you guys can go and figure out any questions you might have. And then Susan is running the iPad, and we shall say hello to TV Land out there. That's for anybody who couldn't make it to the meeting. They get to watch this on YouTube, which sounds like torture, right? So luckily you're here, and we have snacks. They don't even get snacks on YouTube. So that's Susan, and Susan is our mini director. And then and this is Kylie. This is Debbie's daughter. She also dances at the studio. I think that's our.
Tamara's not here. We have lots of other teachers.
Tons of.
They just couldn't make it tonight. So.
All right.
So let's jump to.
So we're just gonna jump right in, and everybody can grab their green studio policy sheet.
So we're gonna do this one first because it pertains to everybody within. Oh, let's do that.
Okay.
So within this room, how many of you have dancers who are mini dancers? Raise your hand. Couple. And then how many of you have kids who are in like more of the performing arts classes? Voice, show choir, acting? One? Just the one? Okay, and then the rest of you are all just regular dance classes? Okay, great. So this one pertains to the whole studio, and then we may break off. Well, we will break off when we come to the recital letter, and Susan will talk a little bit more about the welcome packet, and then I don't know if you want to break off with just the one showcase.
Yeah, we'll figure that out.
Okay, so we're going to go through, this is all the business side of things.
Okay. Here, let's see, because we have a couple, we don't usually start with this, actually,
No,
I just remembered. So actually, let's go through a couple things from this first so that we don't get out of order on our slideshow.
Okay.
So, who is Rhythms? So we already introduced you to our staff, and we told you that we have lots of other instructors that aren't here. So they're all great. That's a staff photo of us.
There they are.
We are. So this is actually on the white sheet, and we'll do a couple things from here, and then we'll go to the green sheet, just so you know a little bit maybe more about what we're going for at this studio before we get into all the rules. So our mission at Rhythms is that we are a professional studio, and now we teach dance and performing arts. Up until a few years ago, we were just a dance studio, and now we've added acting and singing and show choir and a musical. So we're really excited about that. And if your kids are not in any of those classes yet, the great thing is they can all become well-rounded performers and learn all of those things too, which is great. It's really important to us that we teach all of this as an art form and not as a competitive sport. So if you're looking for something competitive, Rhythms is not really the place for you to be because we're just not a competitive type of studio. We have had competition teams in the past, but we like to keep it about the joy of performing and expressing yourself. It's really important to us that all of our students feel that they are comfortable here, surrounded by friends, they're making new friends, and a lot of kids end up saying that this is like a second home to them, and that's really important to us. We want everyone to feel included and loved, so that's a goal that we really have. And we just want our kids to all have lots of confidence, be well-rounded, and have the confidence to achieve all of their goals. Dreaming big. We have big dreams at Rhythms. Next slide, Kylie. Okay, so a couple things that make Rhythms special. As we said, friendship is really important. We do a lot of things to try and increase friendship, and we'll talk about some of those later. Well-rounded dancers, as we told you already, we have all sorts of art forms here. But we also like our girls to be, well, not just girls, there's boys, a couple. We like them to be smart and get good grades. We like them to be involved in things at school. And so we try not to make kids feel like they have to commit their entire life to one thing, to dance. We like them to be able to branch out and do lots of things and even take it other dance studios if they want to. Community service is also really important to us. We do a few events throughout the year that are for the community. So we have, hi, come on in. We have at our winter recital, we choose the kids choose a charity, and then they get to raise money for that charity. We do a shopping trip for families in need at Christmas time. We have our company perform at local venues for retirement homes and things like that throughout the year. And we try and keep all of our recitals really affordable and appropriate. So you won't find inappropriate costumes or songs with swear words at any of our shows. It's really important to us and something that we think we're known for. And you know, someday if they want to grow up and dance to that kind of music, they're welcome to, but there's plenty of other music out there, we feel like. So that's something we try and do. And we also have different ways that we try and keep our costs down for the recital that we'll talk a little bit about later when we talk about the shows. But that's important to us, that everybody feels like they can afford to be in those shows and dancing, performing for people. And finally, dance performance that inspires. As you can see, these are our past recital themes up there from our first year through 2010. And if you were to go in our other studios, you'd see our other ones. But we try and choose themes that are things that the kids can take with them over time. So Anything But Ordinary was about, you know, not just fitting the mold, but branching out, being your own person, things like that. So you'll find that that's something that we do. And we also talk a lot about self-expression here, and we try and get the kids to know that dance is not just about movement or performing and not just about the notes that come out of your mouth, but it's also about I don't know, like taking it to another level and finding some really like personal value in it. So, and even as little minis, they can learn that too, because it's all about fun. All right, next slide. All right, we have a million zillion styles of classes here. A lot of the like most common ones that you'll find are contemporary, jazz, hip hop, character. Those are some of our most popular, but we actually have a really big ballet program, and our tap program is little but adorable. So if you ever have a question about a style that your child is interested in taking, shoot us a question and ask. We also have it written in this gray sheet, this packet. It gives you a rundown of all the different styles. So you can check it all out and go, what the heck is choreography class? What does that mean? And this will tell you. Okay, next slide. Oh, I wanted to mention on that one too that we have the musical Alice in Wonderland right now. Are any of your kids Alice in Wonderland kids? So we're actually putting on our first musical. It's like a full, well, it's an hour long. It's a junior version, and they're all the different parts of Alice in Wonderland. So we plan on doing that again in the spring with a new musical. Let's see. So now we're going to go to the green sheet, the studio policies paper. So if you want to put that one aside for a moment, we'll come back to it and pull out the green. These are all the different things you need to know to be successful at the studio.
So I'm going to skip over that little calendar right there because there's a more thorough calendar in the gray packet that we'll go over in more detail. Maybe you knew this or not, but when you registered, you actually clicked a little box that said you have read this, you accept the terms and agreements, and then you hit next and you were in the class. So sometimes, maybe I'm one too, I don't read it all, but here it is. Those are your tuition rates, so obviously you can see the breakdown. The more classes you take, the more of a discount you get. So if you kind of look at the math, you know, one class is 60, but 5 is only 205. So you're getting quite a discount when you take multiple classes. It's not like we're charging you 60 plus 60 plus 60 plus 60, that, you know, that would be a lot of money. And so we do try to keep our rates fairly reasonable. So we have lots of discounts, which hopefully some of you, most of you hopefully took advantage of. We have the new student discount. We have a bring a friend discount. That is, you know, the first semester, new students get 20% off. There was a little coupon code that you entered when you registered. And then now that you are registered, if you bring a friend, so if any of you, your dancers or performers brought friends a couple weeks ago, you then would get 50% off. And the bring a friend discount is all year long. So if you play your cards right and your dancer and performer brings like 4 or 5 friends, you could basically end up with free tuition for the whole second semester. So just telling you that.
Debbie,
So
just be sure you let us know.
Right.
yes,
away.
yeah, that's definitely something, you know, just, hey, my daughter brought a friend, I think she's enrolled. We'd love to take advantage of the bring a friend discount. We'll confirm it on our online system. Yep, they're registered and paid, and then Lisa will credit your account and you will be good to go. You only have to pay half your tuition.
For the next month.
For the next month, right? If you brought 2 friends, then your tuition is free for the next month. So it's a pretty good deal. So the registration fee, you guys all paid a registration fee. How to pay. So the most ideal way is just to pay online with the credit card. We still do accept checks and cash. There's envelopes out at the front counter and a little black mailbox. And if you just send a check with your dancer and pop it in the envelope, there's a little thing that they just fill out, you know, dancer's name, what month it's for, pop it in the mailbox, and you're good to go. Lots of you maybe have signed up for the recurring payment, so we'll just automatically charge you, and you don't ever have to worry about it. And Lisa's really good on staying on top of that, so hopefully there's never any discrepancies. We do have some late fees, so your tuition is due just as if you were paying rent on a house. It's due on the 1st, and if you pay after the 5th, there is a late fee. So make sure, that's why the auto pay and the recurring payment is nice, because you never have to worry about paying the late fee.
And on the, if you are enrolled in the auto tuition, what will happen is that goes through May unless you call us to cancel something. And then after May, it's done, and we will not charge you for the summertime, because over the summer we do a whole different program. If something changes and you decide to drop out, you just call and we'll make sure not to charge your card. But people always ask if it's going to be charged after May. No.
Yeah, and then your tuition will always remain the same. We've balanced it out. If your son or daughter is sick and you want to, you know, make sure to get that class in so you get your money's worth, they're always welcome to come to a different class. The next week, just give us a call and say, hey, you know, my daughter was sick for her jazz class. Can she come and take this jazz instead to make up for the one she missed? Absolutely, that's no problem. Next slide, please. Thank you, great ma'am. So I'm not going to talk about the performance and recital fees. We'll talk about it more when we break for our recital stuff. So the dress code, we do have a dress code. I don't want to go through it too much, and you guys can just kind of see certain classes where they're supposed to wear certain things. But kind of long story short, if they're a dancer, they should dress like a dancer. If they're a performer and they're in, you know, just the acting classes, you know, sometimes I guess you guys do movements and stuff in there, just come in appropriate clothes. Lots of times though, we will have students come in like the clothes they wore to school, and maybe they wore a skirt to school that day, and it's uncomfortable for them to sit on the floor in a second straddle stretch and have to worry about things, or they'll wear jeans to class. Just kind of go through it and familiarize yourself with it. There's a great little store over in kind of the Ignacio Hamilton area. It's the Marin Dancewear and Theatrical Supply. The lady's name is Lori over there. And does she have a copy of our dress code this year?
Yeah.
She does. So she has a copy of what you have in your hand. So if you go, my daughter's in this, watch your step. Hi, come on in. Hip hop over at Rhythms.
Hi.
I need something for her to wear. Or my daughter's in ballet class over at Rhythms. What do I need to buy? And she'll pull out the little piece of paper and go, oh, this is what you need to buy. She's great.
And she gives all of the Rhythms performing arts students a discount, I think, of 10% off. So just mention that you are from Rhythms, even if you know what you want, and then she should give you a discount.
I have a question. What's the deal with shoes? Because I bought my dancer shoes and she's not wearing them.
What class?
Hip hop.
Hip hop. She should be wearing her. What are they white?
Mhm.
Yeah. She should absolutely be wearing them. They are. Who's your daughter?
Evelyn. I think she's just dancing inside.
Yeah. She
And I
should
feel
be.
like it might be better for her body.
She should
Definitely better
absolutely
shoes.
be wearing her tennis shoes.
Could the instructor
Absolutely.
reinforce it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, we can absolutely reinforce it. Yep, no problem.
Usually in our younger classes, we are pretty strict about watching kids' shoes, but I think your daughter's in the level 8 class, and I think that most of those kids have been dancing for a while, so she probably didn't say anything, but we'll make sure that we do that. No?
Well, yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
for
no,
the
no.
whole class though. I mean, I don't want Evelyn to feel like
Oh, no,
you
sure.
should wear shoes because
Yeah,
your
no.
mom told you.
Sure, no,
Right,
yeah.
no, they should
Oh,
all
we
be-
wouldn't do that. Let's make sure
Yeah.
to reinforce it for
Every
everyone.
now and then they need a little reminder. There was a ballet class the other day and none of them had leotards and tights on, and I had to tell the teacher, don't forget, you need to tell them to wear, okay, we all kind of need reminders. We get a little lackadaisical. So label everything. This is, well, it's for everybody. Every jazz shoe, every black jazz shoe basically looks the same. Every patent leather tap shoe with little ties looks the same. Susan can probably, confirm this. There's always minis losing things and they get mixed up and then they go home in somebody's bag. Just put your dancer's name on them. Some parents have even created little labels and they stick them on there. Like when Kylie was little, the bottoms of her black tap shoes were black, so you couldn't write on them. So I wrote her name in nail polish. I made sure it didn't come off. Things like that. And just make sure everything fits properly. I understand that little children's feet are growing, and to maybe save a little bit of money, you might buy the shoes a little bit big in the hopes that they'll grow into them and you won't need to buy them in a year. But it really will affect the way they perform their movements. If their ballet shoes are too big and they're constantly slipping off, maybe they're not pointing their toe all the way. If their tap shoe is flopping, maybe they're not doing their shuffle correctly because they're trying to squeeze their toes to hold onto the shoe so it doesn't go flying. So really try and make sure that they do fit properly.
And if they happen to mention that their shoes are too tight, they probably are, and it's probably all they're thinking about through class. So you might want to look into a new pair. But
Yes.
luckily, we've got these black boxes right out
These
here
three
that
little
look like
bins.
chairs.
They look like little stools, but if you pop the lids off, there's all sorts of shoes in there. And they can borrow them. They're shoes that older dancers have recycled and brought back, and we group them together by size, and you're more than welcome to take a look and see if there's anything in there that fits. Okay, next slide, Kylie. Perfect. Dun, dun, dun. So class etiquette. We just want to make sure that all the students come to class on time. What happens in that first 15 to even sometimes a half an hour is their warm-up time. That's when their bodies are being warmed up to be able to do the cross floors and the proper stretches and their combination. And if they miss that warm-up time, then they're going to end up having injuries. So it's very important that they come to class on time. If it becomes too much of a problem and they're continuously late all the time, we have given our teachers approval to not allow them to dance for that day. So we need to make sure that they're in class and prepared and ready to dance right when their class starts. If they're going to be absent, we would love a phone call, or email, just like you would do at school. We're responsible for your kids when they're here, and so when one doesn't show up and we don't know why, it's cause for concern. So we've got this great online system that if you email or call, Megan can input it right into our roll system online. So when I go to take roll, can see immediately that so-and-so is absent because they're sick, and I don't have to panic and go, Megan, where's this student? I don't know where they are. So if you can just give us a courtesy call, shoot us a very quick email that says we're out of town, whatever the reason, that would be fantastic. let's see, what else? The hangout room, that's our hangout room. I don't know what you want to talk
It's just
about. The
that,
hangout room.
The students are allowed to come early
Oh,
for class
yeah,
if
okay.
they, as long as it's not the last class of the night, they're allowed to stay late. A lot of, the kids like to hang out and do homework in there, and that's what it's for. So that's fine, but we do have a rule about, well, actually, I think we have another slide about food, so
We do.
that's all they need to know about the hangout
Yeah,
room.
so they're allowed to hang
It's
out there,
there.
do their homework, whatever. Respect, we just, you know, we believe that we all need to be friends and respectful of each other, be kind to each other, be polite to each other, and just be respectful and aware of the people around you at all the times. Inclusion, we want everybody to feel included. Like Kate said earlier, we want people to feel comfortable and that this is their second home. And so, you know, when our dancers come through the door, we love it when they say hello to everybody in the hangout room and that everybody is included in what's going on and that there's not little cliques, you know, here and there, which is not okay. Assistant teachers, we've got some great assistant teachers. Some of you may have noticed some of them in your classes. They're there to assist the teacher. They help with warm-ups. They, you know, with the younger ones, if they need their shoes tied, instead of the teacher stopping the entire class to take time out to tie a shoe, the assistant jumps right on it. They need to line up at the bar. The assistant jumps right on it. They learn the dances. They'll learn all the recital dances, which is great, so they can kind of help out. They're just it's a good tool, and the kids love having them. They love having an older role model in their class to look up to. Tie the page. Thank you, babe. Safety. So for insurance purposes, we ask that no dancer be in any of the studios, or parents, or siblings, or anything else unless there's a teacher present. Sometimes it gets a little confusing with the downstairs studio, because I know there's a couple classes that's where it starts, and that's where kind of you go and you wait for your teacher to get there, but we really have to have you wait outside until a teacher is present. You're more than welcome to bring them upstairs. There's a whiteboard in there. They can hang out play on the whiteboard, but really they can't be in the studios unless we're one of the teachers. Doesn't have to be their particular teacher for whatever class they're taking, as long as there's a teacher in the room. We would love for our dancers to wait on the balcony for their parents. With daylight savings time coming to a close, it's gonna get darker earlier, and some of your dancers will be leaving when it's dark out. And we do have some lights in the parking lot, but it's not lit up, you know, too much. And so there is a bench out there, and sometimes the kids will leave and they'll go sit on the bench, and we won't know that they're there. It's dark out, and we just want them to be safe. So even if you park on the street, if you could just kind of walk and just wave to the balconies that they know where you are, then they can go down. Because until they get in the car with you, we are responsible for them, and I don't ever want to lose a child. Walking to the shopping center. So the minis probably shouldn't do that by themselves. But we have lots of middle schoolers and high schoolers who Trader Joe's is right there, Starbucks is right there, and they love to, if they're here for a long time, walk over there. Once they leave the studio, they're out of our control. So if it's okay with you, then, you know, that's fine, but that is kind of your job to tell them whether or not. We can't necessarily monitor it, so we just are hoping that when they do leave as a group, that they've gotten permission from you. If they haven't, and you find out that they went to Starbucks, maybe just let us know, give us a heads up. But I know a lot of those middle schoolers are kind of finding their wings and loving to spread them widely. I have an 11-year-old myself who goes to Starbucks. Lost and found. In the last kind of 2 cubbies on the end in the hangout room, we do have a lost and found. Personal belongings are their responsibility, so if they bring it to the studio and they bring a phone or an iPad or something, they're responsible for it. We cannot assume responsibility for it. The last Friday of every month, we will clear out the lost and found, and Megan takes it to Goodwill or a thrift store, and we get rid of it. So make sure that you are aware of that, because, you know, a couple months later, we'll have parents come back and go, oh my gosh, where is my child's North Face jacket? Well, it's probably on somebody who bought it from Goodwill. So the last Friday of every month. So if your daughter or son is missing something, tell them to look first and just, we'll bag stuff up and put stuff in the back. For the end of the year, we do have a lost and found fashion show at our slumber party, which we'll talk more about later. But usually around like the end of March and April, we'll just kind of start collecting things. And then we have a fashion show of everything that's been left at the studio. And it's quite fun. So just make sure that we'll kind of let you know. We'll give you lots of warning. It's coming. If you're still missing stuff, come and look. Okay, nobody claimed it, and then it's basically up for grabs at the slumber party. And we have the older girls model it, and it's quite silly. All right, Kylie. Class placement. So kind of running through this. So we have some class compasses, and we've got some guidelines of what each level should be learning. All of the teachers have received a copy, and the goal is to fulfill everything on the list by June. Or the end of May, because we operate on a year-long system. So hopefully you're all here for the long haul. Dropping and adding classes, the cutoff is the end of October. So we do that because we have to start working on recital dances, and we can't have people popping in and out in November and December. So we'll let you know when it's starting to come, and so that will be kind of their last and final, time to add anything or drop anything or change anything. The way our computer system is set up, you as parents are not authorized to drop them yourselves. You have to send us an email, and we will go ahead and take them off the roster for you. Hopefully nobody drops anything. Moving up into the next level, we always love it when kids aim high and want to be challenged. If you feel or your dancer feels that they should be in a higher level, come and talk to us. We're pretty accurate when it comes to placing the kids based on their ages and their dance experience, but sometimes we're wrong. Sometimes we get it wrong, and so we're always open, to hear what you have to say. Have them come talk to us if it's a concern in class. You can always email us and let us know, and we'll talk to the teachers and see what we can do about it. Mini students, our mini program goes from 3 until 3rd grade. And so they have to be a mini student all the way through 3rd grade. It seems like a long time, but in the long scheme of things, by the time they get into level 1, we don't have to worry about them paying attention. We don't have to worry about them hanging on the bars or running amok, because they've had so many good levels of mini classes. They know how to be in a class. They know how to act in a class. It used to be that we would allow them to be out of minis when they were about 6, and it didn't work. We had very, very young students who were not focused enough. The mini classes, most of them, it's a half-hour tap, half-hour ballet, so there's a slight little break in between, or 45-minute, hip-hop jazz class. So then when they go to a full hour class of just one style, their attention span goes away, and so usually by 9 years old, they're ready to focus and be dancers. So we keep our minis until 3rd grade.
So is that the end of 2nd grade, 3rd grade starting, or the whole 3rd grade?
No, I'm sorry, I must have said that wrong. It's through 2nd.
Okay.
So then
starting
I said it wrong, I'm sorry.
Okay.
So starting in 3rd grade,
Okay.
they will then bump into regular. Yeah, as soon as you said that, I was like, that seems really old. Basically, Kylie would still need to be a mini almost. You're not, don't worry. So yeah, that's right. So going through 2nd, and then once they hit 3rd grade, then we will bump them up into the regular levels, okay? And we always try to group the right students together. So like I said, based on age and ability and all of the above, we put them in the right classes. And like I said, so far we've done a pretty good job of it.
We try to make sure students don't focus too much on what their class is called. So like, oh, I was in Jazz 5 last year and I'm still in Jazz 5 this year. Well, yeah, but so is everybody else who was in Jazz 5, and so they also learned everything you learned last year. So it's really about the right kids who are all dancing at the same skill level being in the same class, and not about every year you go from 5
parents' observation. So normally, we do not allow parents in the room. We have the little observation window in Studio B, because I know the many parents just like to watch their little kids dance. Who wouldn't? But we don't allow parents in the actual room. It's just very distracting. The kids seem more focused on the parent wanting to run over and give hugs, and where their focus needs to be on the teacher. We do allow 1 week per year